first and foremost, you have to be confident that like my service is going to get them the desired result and I'm worth X, right? And be confident in that, because if you don't sound confident displaying the prices and going over them with somebody else, there is no way somebody else is going to buy it or feel confident.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merritt.
All right, guys, here we go. Another episode of Gym Marketing Made Simple with Blake and Sherman. Guys, so today we're going to jump right into it. With the new year here in full effect, right? We want to talk about when clients come in for an intro, right? Some people may say intro, some people may call it a gym tour, whatever you call it, doesn't really matter. We want to talk about how to execute a good gym tour, if you want to call it that, right? Because the name is a little misleading because no one really needs a quote unquote gym tour, right? They've seen enough barbells and mats and pull-up rigs and dumbbells, kettlebells. So we want to talk about what happens when we bring potential clients in, right? So let's start there. I would say the first thing is, guys, you need to have, it's 2025, you need to have some area in your gym sort of set aside for a gym tour, right? For an intro. It needs to be a professional place. It needs to be a quiet place. You need to have testimonials up in that area if possible, or at least in a notebook on the table, so that when they're sitting there waiting on you, because eventually someone will have to wait on you because maybe you're finishing, another one or dealing with something else. You want to make sure they can look at the things that you've been successful with at your gym. So the first thing is you want to make sure that you're doing it in a professional area, right? In a professional place. For me, a close second is something that I implemented at my gym pretty quickly, is that you had to have on a Dynasty CrossFit branded shirt, right? Had to be clean, ironed. It couldn't be a old ragged t-shirt, right? Like we even went as far at Dynasty, we had polos that we would do them in at times, right? Because again, this is the first time that someone has met you. And like we always know, first impressions are very important, right? So you meet this person, you walk into the office, you have on a nice, clean, dry shirt, whether it's a t-shirt or a polo, it just sort of sets the standard, right? That you're a professional, that you're serious about helping them reach their goals. Because, been in this industry for so long, guys, I can tell you right now, we've seen some intros, some gym tours be done very poorly, right? And I want to talk about a couple other things that we have to stop. Hopefully no one's still doing these in 2025, right? You cannot do an intro when you're sweaty and nasty, right? You don't get to jump into the intro 2 minutes after you just finished the 5:30 class, right? Huffing and puffing, drinking your protein shake. And now you're talking to Michelle, who wants to lose 10 pounds over the next 3 to 6 months. And you're huffing and puffing, sweaty and nasty. Like, we have to do better than that, right? We have to stop that, as a matter of fact, because that level of professionalism sort of sets the standard. And it is very hard to sort of overcome that, especially once you start hearing their goals, and then you're talking about pricing. And if you're priced appropriately, $200+ a month, it is going to be tough to talk about, yes, we can help you this, we can help you reach these goals. The price is going to be $250 or, $750 per month, whatever you're selling them. but you're drenched in sweat, huffing hard, right? That is not a good look, right? That's something that we should stop immediately. Hopefully before now, but we cannot do that anymore. No more huffing and puffing right after the class, right? Yeah, I just want to have a full stop at that. No more working out and then jumping right into the intro.
I think one thing
Blake.
for you guys, one thing too for you guys is make sure that you're sitting down. I know Sherman said have a space for somebody, but I heard about people like standing up. Like you want it to be like a comfortable space that they feel like they can be open and vulnerable, because that's the goal of the intro, right? To pull out their why, pull out the reason why they're actually there. It's not the 20 pounds they lose, whatever. And we'll kind of get into like questions to ask. But you guys gotta make sure that you're like sitting down, not standing at a front desk, like, and making it so informal, like, oh, do you want to join? And like just standing up at your front desk computer. The other thing is like, don't worry about the equipment. Like you don't need to actually show them around the gym and show them everything there. Like all they're there for is results. And I think another thing we see all the time, we're asked like, how long do your intros last? They last an hour long. You're wasting so much time. You can get an intro done in 30 minutes, and if they sign up, maybe it takes you 40 minutes. But if you need to allot only 30 minutes, and I would say I would always use it to an advantage. If I had somebody waiting for an intro after the person I was talking to, I would go out if I was running behind. Hey, I'm so sorry. I'm finishing up signing up this person. I'll be right with you. So that way they know that other people are joining. So like, oh, other people are joining. So they want to be a part of that. So I think that's just a huge thing of just making sure that like you're having a space that people can be, honest, vulnerable, and that you can, and don't make it noisy and people coming in and out. Like it needs to be private with the door shut, not allowed a noise coming from the outside. Make it professional. Like if you're charging $200, like you have to make it so they see that like this place is worth it.
No, I agree. And guys, here's the thing: if you're a new gym, right? Like I get it. I started off in my garage, and then we moved to a small space, and this just was not possible, right? We had 1,000 square feet. I would only do intros outside of class time, obviously. But as you grow and expand, for you guys that have big enough spaces, you have to block off some space or figure out where you're going to have sort of your office space to do these intros, because you don't want people to just be able to walk through and interrupt you. Like you guys, how to, if you're the owner and you're doing an intro, when people come in, everyone's going to speak to you, sort of interrupts it, even though they're being nice and great. They're going to say, oh, yes, you definitely have to join. And there's a time and place for that. But you want to make sure that this person is really comfortable so that they can really get to their pain points, so that you can talk about how your gym solves those pain points, right? That is really, really important. In addition to that, to sort of talk about what Blake spoke on earlier, what was I going to say? Blake, you said something earlier. Oh, the length of the intro. Yes, guys. Intros, I'm sort of a hard 30-minute tops, right? That is tops. Because you don't need to have an hour-long conversation with these folks to determine if they're serious about joining your gym and getting in great shape. Because over the years, over the hundreds, thousands of intros that I've done, some people, they're naturally just talkative, right? Even if they have no desire to join, they like to talk, so they want to tell you about everything they've done and all of that. Guys, 30 minutes. In 30 minutes, you can sign pretty much anyone up who is serious about getting started, right? That's very important. So sort of put that in your mind right now. 30 minutes tops. That's sort of what I'm going to do. And then you'll better go from there. So yeah, I wanted to piggyback on that.
I think, Sherman, let's go into, I know we're going to keep this one brief because we want people to get a lot of value. let's go into, I just got off a call with a lady that like, she's like, I don't know if I can sell, right? Like, I don't feel confident. I think the number one thing is, guys, if you wouldn't buy your own service for the price that you're charging, you probably shouldn't be selling it, or you're not creating enough value that nobody's going to buy it. Like, if you don't feel that you're worth $200 and you wouldn't pay for it, why would anybody else? So you first have to be, first and foremost, you have to be confident that like my service is going to get them the desired result and I'm worth X, right? And be confident in that, because if you don't sound confident displaying the prices and going over them with somebody else, there is no way somebody else is going to buy it or feel confident. So, I had no problem ever selling a $500 to $1,000 PT package. And I would make it known too that like, hey, this is expensive, but it's going to get you results. Like if you show up and you do what we ask and you eat well, you're going to get results. And you can't be like, oh, well, the price, like you can't sound like unconfident, unsure about it. You have to lead with like, hey, this is going to help you. And I know it is, right? So I think that's huge. But I think going over, and Sherman, maybe your questions are a little different, but let's go over like, hey, this is a way to run the intro when you sit down with them.
Yeah. So, I'll sort of give you guys a little brief timeline. So when they first come in, the first 5 minutes, it's just sort of small talk, right? When you first meet someone new, you want to just get to know them better, right? But that's only for, 3 to 5 minutes, right? You don't have time to hear their entire life story. But for the first 5 minutes, you want to sort of get to know them. The next 10 minutes, you want to figure out what their pain point is, right? What has brought them through the doors, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what you're going to dive into to get them to make a decision, right? So once you figure that out, because that'll take about 10 minutes, obviously you don't want to rush them. You want to figure out if they're trying to lose weight, gain muscle, be more confident, win a competition, whatever they're trying to do, you want to figure that out in about 10 minutes. And then over the next 5 minutes, so we're at 20 minutes now, that's when I personally like to put them on the InBody so I can grab some data, right? After that, the last 10 minutes of the intro is when we're going to talk about how our gym solves their problem using the data that we've gotten from the InBody scan. And I'm not plugging InBody. They're not paying me. They should be. But I'm not plugging in, but I'm just saying you want to have some type of data, right? You want to have their weight, body fat percentage, all of that stuff so that they know that, okay, I need to make a change, right? I saw the close rate on my intros go up a decent amount once I started using data in every single intro, right? Because beforehand, they would just come in, we would talk to them, and then it was sort of words, we were sort of going back and forth. But it really helped once I could show Blake that he's sitting at 32% body fat, and I would show him where he lied on the body fat percentage chart. It really made it real, right? Because it's not just me trying to, this dude is trying to close me, trying to get me to join this gym. No, you actually need to join the gym because right now you're 27 years old, you're at 32% body fat, so you're really in the obese category right now for males, right? And that really helps. So after we learn about them for about 10 minutes, for about 5 minutes, we figure out what their pain point is for about 10 minutes. We'll grab some data, right? For about 5, so we're at 20. The last 10, that's when you quote unquote close the deal using the data that you've gained from the whatever type of biometric screening that you want to do and what they've told you their pain point is, right? So you sort of put those two together in the last 10 minutes, use the data from the biometric test, and then you also use what they've told you they are trying to achieve. And then you only talk about how your gym solves that problem, right? You don't talk about the class options. You don't talk about the community. They don't care about that, right? That is a added bonus and all of that. But they want to know, how can you solve my problem? So the last 10 minutes, that is what you're talking about. And after that, it's just a simple, let's get you started, right? And from there, we could we could go down a whole nother bunny trail on objection handling and stuff, but we won't do that now. But that's how you run sort of an intro, right? 30 minutes tops, guys. 30 minutes tops. Blake, were you finna say something?
Yeah, I think the one thing to add after you go over the embody is really use that as a data point to it's going to take X amount of time to really reach your goal and agree upon the goal, right? Like, hey, do we agree that it's probably going to take 6 months to a year to reach that? That way, when you get to the pricing, they know it's a long term and this isn't a short term fix. And then they know that you're going to track that to make sure that they are getting those results. Then it makes it a lot easier to sell them because now you're like, hey, you're at 40%, you want to get to 20%. This is literally like probably a 1 to 2 year thing. Do we agree that this is going to take a good amount of time? So I really need a commitment. And then you can even ask like, hey, Sherman, are you willing to invest a year to 2 years into this to really make this happen? Or are you wanting you're hoping in 3 months, right? So that way you guys are on the same page. Then you can go right into the pricing and then sell from there.
No, I like that. We do the same thing with potential clients here at Lasso, guys. You need to figure out what does success look like for them in the timeline they're expecting it, right? Blake and I, we just talked to someone recently, and Blake, I know you'll remember the numbers better than me because you just will. We talked to the guy, and we were asking about, what does success look like? What type of, you know what I'm talking about. Like, what did that guy say? Like, he was trying to get back.
Sorry. Said he wanted a 5 to 10x return on month 1.
Yeah. So we knew from the beginning.
If you spent, let's say you spent $2,000, you're going to 20K return.
Yeah, guys. So that let us know immediately, Blake and I, red flags from the beginning. This is not going to work, right? This is not going to work. He has unrealistic expectations, and we told him that, and we didn't work together. And there's nothing wrong with that, guys. But the same thing with your gym members. When they come in, potential gym, if someone comes to you and they're like, I want to use 100 pounds. Okay, what does that time frame look like? Oh, I need to lose 100 pounds in 6 months. You need to be honest enough with them to say, listen, like, that's pretty much going to be impossible for you to lose 100 pounds in 6 months, right? Or, obviously I chose a huge number, but you guys know you're the professional. If they have unrealistic goals, you need to help them reframe that to what's going to be more realistic so they can make the best decision for them, because they'll probably still join the gym, but you don't want them joining under the premise of, okay, I'm going to lose 100 pounds in 6 months. And then when you get to 6 months, they've only lost 45 pounds. They're going to be very disappointed and unhappy because you weren't totally honest with them. So I like that, Blake, definitely putting, what does success look like, and then putting a real time frame on that so they can know what that's going to look like, because that can really strain a relationship if they're thinking, okay, I'm going to reach this goal in X amount of time. And when that amount of time comes, they're not even close, or they're halfway there. So that's important for sure.
Awesome.
Guys.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. 19 minutes, man. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah. So, we wanted to, just give you guys sort of some insights on what that consult will look like. But I know we're sort of jumping back and forth to give you guys a timeline and type of stuff you should pull from it. But go back through this, take some notes so that you can run that great intro. Because remember, the intro is really where it all starts, right? You do a great job at the intro, you're going to sign up a client and more than likely keep them around for a long time, So these intros are uber important, because if you have a, average arm of $200 per month and you're leg is 18 months, right? We're talking about a lot of money you could potentially make in an intro, guys. So it's really important that you guys dial the intros in so that you can help more people and your business become more profitable, guys. So as always, tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat with you guys next week. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's LASSOFRAMEWORK.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.